Hi, I'm Amy.
I'm Laura.
And we are Twopapergirls. Today we're doing the Time and Place book tag, which was originally started by Jen Campbell, but we found out about it by watching Colly from Collyofthewobbles. We love your channel, you're so nice. And you mentioned that anyone can do it, so we're like, well, this is a really nice tag. And we kind of want to do just a little discussion-y tag video that hasn't got any questions. It's really nice.
The basic premise of this tag is to just pick out books where you specifically remember reading them in a certain place, in a certain time of your life, and you have like a memory attached to that book that isn't just the plot and things.
So let's just go for it.
My first one is my memory of reading Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire. I remember this because this was actually the first Harry Potter book that I read. I remember on kids' telly everyone was going crazy about Half-Blood Prince coming out, and I had seen the first 3 films. I think that's all that had come out, and I was like, oh, I want to read this 6th book even though I hadn't read the others. And I went to my brother like, should I read 4 and 5 first? And he was like, yeah. So I started off with Goblet of Fire, and this was my first ever Harry Potter book. I remember really loving it. It was so detailed, and I was constantly wanting to guess like who put Harry's name in the Goblet of Fire, and I had this huge theory that it was Draco. But it turned out to be Mad-Eye Moody. I was just totally shocked, and this whole book was just crazy. And then I went on to read Order of the Phoenix, and I remember I reread all the books then from the start to find out who R.A.B. was, and I did actually figure it out because it's mentioned in Order of the Phoenix. But anyway, yeah, so I remember reading Goblet of Fire. I took it on holiday with my nan to Llandudno in Wales, and I think this book took me months to read because I wasn't like as much of a reader, and it's pretty huge. So yeah, I took it on holiday there, and I slept around my cousin Jay's, and I took it, and they were really impressed that I was reading such a big book when I was so young. And yeah, this just got me into the Harry Potter book world away from the films, and it just was the start of everything, really.
The next book that I have a memory attached to is actually not this one. I'm just showing you this so you know which series it's from. It's from the Gone series by Michael Grant. It's actually Plague. It's like the red one with all the little insects in it. That book I love so much. I read it the first time when I come back off holiday, and I was just turning 15, and I went out for a Chinese with Laura because Chinese is my favourite thing, and she bought me Plague because it was in the series that I love. I remember going home that night, like finishing my Chinese all you can eat so fast, going home and then just reading that book until it was done. And it took me one day because I loved it so much, and I've just remembered that it took me a day. It's all coming back now. I loved Plague so much, and that series was brilliant, and I can't believe that I'd only read the 4th book in that series when I was turning 15, so a good 4 years ago now. I love this series so much. And then it took Laura to go, Amy, the last one's coming out soon. Oh, is it really? And then I'd get really excited, but I just wouldn't go find out for myself. I'd just pick up a book and be like, read it. Oh, that was good. I didn't really get excited about books coming out until I come on BookTube, really.
My next book memory is attached to Paper Towns by John Green. This was when I basically first got into YouTube. I found out about Vlogbrothers, and I found out that he'd written some books, and this was the first one I actually read of John Green, the first book I bought because I liked the sound of it the most. And I was obsessed with all the mystery of it. I was like, where's Margot? What's happening? And I was in year 9, and I remember we had astronomy, GCSE. It was an after school thing. And I remember being sat in astronomy with this book in my bag, like, I need to get home, I need to read it, I need to read it. And I absolutely loved it. I read it in 1 or 2 days. I lent it to you pretty much straight afterwards. I lent it to everyone because I was like, everyone needs to know about this book. And yeah, I just have a lot of memories with this book about sort of discovering John Green and YouTube, and then that slowly became BookTube, and this book just, like Goblet of Fire, really started off a lot of things in my life.
The next book that I have such good memories attached to is A Fault in Our Stars by John Green. This come out on a Friday in the UK because I remember going into Nuneaton Town after college and picking this up, taking it home and reading it up until I had to go to band on a Friday night. And in the break I was reading it, and everyone was looking at me like, hey, you're being very unsociable tonight. And I was sitting there like, I don't care, I need to read this book. And it was just the best thing. And this book just reminds me so much of band and college. And well done to County Youth Win Band for competing in the finals for Music for Youth. You did really well, it was so good. I remember getting home that night as well and just reading it until I finished it and just crying into the night. And that was just the best Friday. I just love that Friday so much. I remember reading it in the car, even though I get really car sick. So it was just depressing all round because I felt sick. The character in this book felt very sick. It was just not good.
The last book I'm going to mention, which I have a memory attached to, is Tiger Lily by Jodie Lynn Anderson. This book isn't really talked about much on BookTube, but it's really, really good. It's like a Peter Pan retelling from Tiger Lily's perspective, but it has a lot more to it than that. And yeah, I remember this for sort of a bad reason. In my first year of college, I took English Language A-level and Maths, and they had an exam the same time on the same day, but because the total length of the exams was over 3 hours, I couldn't do them back to back, so they put me in isolation for 2.5 hours. So I was in this little hut with one other person who I didn't know. I wasn't allowed my phone, I wasn't allowed anything. I was allowed to revise, which for maths isn't really that helpful because you're not going to do a paper right before your exam. But anyway, those exams went great, and in between those I read pretty much all of this book in that 2.5-3 hour gap. I just devoured this book. It was really, really good and sweet, and I love Peter Pan, and I might reread this actually because I can't remember what happens that well because I read it so quickly, but it was really good. I just remember being sat in that hut all by myself while other people had finished an exam that I hadn't even done yet, and it was all just really bizarre, but this book is attached to that memory.
The last book that I remember reading really well is Persuasion by Jane Austen. Me and Laura both had to read this for a Cambridge summer school, and we had college for 2 years. We moved from our secondary school to go to an actual sixth form college for our year 12 and 13, and I remember that summer, it was a really long summer that we weren't used to because we'd just finished our AS levels. And everything was just so perfect. It was a lovely, warm, hot summer. We knew where we were going because obviously we had another year at Kegs, but we were so settled in to that first year. And it was just the best time because the year after that, like that last summer, we were so obsessed with uni. And now this summer, we're like, oh, second year. Yeah. But it feels a lot like that summer. That's what reminded me of this book. I remember reading it on the canal, in the sun. Just like, not hating it because I didn't like it. I thought it was really boring. But I just remember being with my best friend in the summer. And it was just really nice. This has been such a cute tag. We've really enjoyed talking about our stories.
We really enjoyed Colly's video. This is just such a cute idea to reminisce about books and how they mingle in with your everyday life as well.
I'm in such a good mood now.
I know, it's just so cute.
As this is a tag video, we're going to tag some people.
We normally forget to tag people, which is really bad because that's the whole point of them. So the first person we're going to tag is Gina from In Cold Lit,
Yvette Eclectic,
and Kayla from Kayla Rayne. We will leave all their channels down below, go check them out because they're all really great.
And we'll see you on the next video.
Bye!
Book that
Why can't I talk? What are words?
Oh.
What was friend making?